Welcome to the Etsy Conversations podcast, featuring inspiring interviews with Etsy shop owners, hosted by Ijama Elazu.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the Etsy Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Ijama, and I thank you for joining me for another episode this week. I have another guest this week who I'm really excited to talk to, and I'm stifling a laugh because I feel like I just reprimanded him, but he says I didn't. And my guest is Chris. Chris runs the Etsy shop Merlin's Beard Products, and he runs that Etsy shop with his business partner, Rob. They opened the shop in March of 2014 and to date have almost 1,700 sales. And Chris, welcome to the Etsy Conversations podcast. Thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Okay, before we start our conversation, can you just introduce yourself officially?
Yeah, my name's Chris, and I run this Etsy shop and another Etsy shop, and I've got a daughter. My family just recently made a move, which has allowed me to focus on the running of the Etsy shops full time now.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so let's start with, how do you describe yourself?
I'll
be specific.
I guess I've always thought of myself or wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to work for myself. Even when I used to work my full-time jobs, I was always thinking, like, what if I didn't have to punch a time clock? Or what if I didn't have to listen to someone else tell me what to do and I could just do what I wanted and made money? So when we started this, that was really the goal, was to branch out on our own and do something that we could make money doing.
Okay. So you opened the shop in March of 2014. Was that when you first heard about Etsy, or did you know about Etsy before?
No, I knew about Etsy years earlier, and I was talking to my wife, and I can't even remember. She told me about it after either one of her friends or her sister told her about it, but that was probably 2009.
Okay.
And we shopped on there quite often. And I actually, in probably 2011, me and another friend started an Etsy shop.
Really?
That we closed. We didn't really know what we were doing. We just used to look at Etsy all the time and thought it would be cool. So we tried and we closed it because we didn't do anything with it.
So was it always your goal to have a business in the handmade industry sector?
Not necessarily, but in all the jobs I worked, I realized that I never worked in like manufacturing. I never produced anything. And from the time that I was young, like, I loved working with my hands. My family had a wood shop. I used to work out there all the time, and you could see that you made something at the end of the day. So when I decided that I could actually start making something and producing a physical product and make money doing it, that was what I wanted to do. And I think, so yeah, I guess I always wanted to do something handmade.
I like that. Cause nowadays, if you follow a lot of entrepreneurs or, how to become an entrepreneur, there's a lot of emphasis on building the type, like a virtual type of business. And that's not the way you went. I guess in a way, Etsy is somewhat virtual because it's online, but you're creating an actual product. But tell us what you sell.
I sell, handcrafted, hand poured, beard care items. So we sell beard waxes, mustache waxes, beard oils. We sell beard combs. We are getting into, shaving things. So we now sell custom-made safety razors and shave brushes. We sell a shave oil, and eventually we're going to branch out into the more shave balms, shave soaps, things like that. And then hopefully eventually other natural men's grooming items.
So everything is all natural and all handmade?
Everything is all natural. It's all handmade. We're not to the point where everything is organic.
Okay.
But we are all handmade. We have brought on some equipment. So when we started, we were literally hand pouring out of a cup everything.
Wow.
And now we have a large melter. We have an oil pump, but it's still, we We pour everything, we blend everything ourselves, we melt everything down to we even print our own labels and affix our own labels to every item.
Wow. And when you say we, you mean you and Rob?
Yeah, me and Rob.
Wow. Okay. So how and when did you become interested in making men's beard care products?
So I've had a beard for several years, and so has Rob. And it was January of 2014. He started buying all of these beard items off of Etsy. And he's like, oh, you got to try this one. You got to try this one. You got to try this one. I don't even know how many he bought. He bought tons. Mm-hmm. So I came home and I told my wife, I said, hey, I want to buy some of this beard stuff. And she said, it's expensive. You got to pay for shipping. She was pregnant at the time. Mm-hmm. So we started our Etsy shop on March 13th, and my daughter was born on April 21st.
Wow.
So she said, can you at least look and try to find it locally so you don't have to pay the shipping? Mm. So I called barbershops because that's the only place I could think to call. And everybody said, no, we don't make it. We don't make it. We don't make it. We don't carry it. So I finally said, you know, Rob, we could make this stuff ourselves. So I went and told my wife, and she said, okay, go ahead. So we started, and as soon as we started, our first task was to go back to all these barbershops that said they wanted to carry it and sell it to them wholesale. So that really gave us a kickstart right out of the gate because we already had customers that we knew would want to buy it before we started.
For the local barbershops, did you have them buy it through your Etsy store, or did you just sell to them one-to-one so they didn't have to go online to make the purchases?
We did not sell through Etsy. We sold it directly.
Okay.
And when we built our pricing, we knew we were wanting to do that, so we knew we had to build in for wholesale pricing.
Okay. And so now do you do wholesale through Etsy as well?
I just heard one of your podcasts about 2 weeks ago about Etsy wholesale, and now I am on Etsy wholesale.
Oh, okay. Oh, fantastic. So is selling locally still a big part of your business?
Yes, it is. It's a very large part of our business.
Okay.
We have, I don't even know how many. We have several barbershops that we sell through. We also sell through a small bottle shop that sells beer. He was a friend of ours, and we reached out to him, and he said, yeah, sure, I'll put it on the counter. So we did consignment with him just to see how it would sell, but within a month he had to reorder.
Oh, wow.
So we moved straight to a wholesale with him as well.
Okay. So when you opened your Etsy shop, you were very focused. You were very intentional. You weren't testing the field or anything. You knew what your goal was.
Yes. And I mean, I will say it was kind of a test, not necessarily for Etsy, but more for Rob and I, because we knew we wanted to expand our business, and we knew eventually we wanted to do things outside of beard care.
Right.
And it was a test to see if we could actually do it, and, you know, to learn all of everything that goes along with it, not just Etsy, but marketing, online marketing, dealing with wholesale customers. All of that it's something that we had never done. We both work retail. Yeah. So that kind of back end of manufacturing was stuff we had never done. And the beard stuff was what we thought would be a quick and easy entry into eventually growing a business.
Did you find that it was quick and easy to?
We did. We got our first sale right out the gate. It was a friend. He ordered probably 5 seconds after we listed the item, and it just popped up. But then we got a sale within a week, and then our next sale within 2 days of that. And then it kind of snowballed pretty quickly. And then we got to the holidays last year, and it really snowballed.
Oh, yeah.
So we both put up our seed money to start, and we've never put any additional capital in.
Oh, wow. And you were able to make that back up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we reinvest everything. We reinvest everything into the business.
Okay.
So while I do it full time, neither of us take a salary, and we don't take money out. We just dump everything back in to try to grow it bigger and faster. Can
I just say the guys on Shark Tank would love you guys? Because that's what they always say to do.
Yeah.
Now, so how did you learn your craft? How did you learn to make, well, with woodworking, I know your family business, you grew up woodworking, but how about the other products like the oils and the waxes? How did you learn to make all that?
It was just research and trial and error.
Okay.
We went out and we did a ton of research. Because you can look, everybody lists their ingredients. So we compiled a list, and the list ended up being, if you're doing a beard wax, here's, 50 things that people are putting into it. Mm-hmm. So then we had to research down, because you don't want to put 50 things into it. So you have to research down and see what everything does and why it's in there. And we came up with what we thought would be our recipe, and we tried it, and it was terrible. It didn't work. Then we tried something else, and it didn't work. So we went through, 15 or 20 recipes before we landed on what we thought. And we didn't just do it for what we thought. We took it to some of the barbershops and said, is this something that you'd be interested in? And they used it on their clients before we ever said, okay, this is finally the one.
Wow. I like that. And, one of the things I want to point out, Chris and Rob's shop, the one we're talking about right now, is Merlin Beard Products. If you go to their shop right now, they have 15 items. And there's always this discussion I see going on, in Etsy circles about how many products you need to have, to get sales. And you guys have lots of sales, and you have a very streamlined product line. Like you don't have hundreds of things you're offering. And, I want to just jump into how you think, or why you think it is that you've been able to find success with such a narrow but very focused product line.
Well, when we started, one thing we did was we looked at several of the other companies on Etsy that were selling the same thing, and not just on Etsy, through social media, we found tons. And a lot of them, they just had tons and tons and tons of scents. And they would list every single item in every single scent. And it filled out their shops. They would have 10 or 12 or 14 pages. And we decided that when we had someone come to our shop, we wanted them to be able to look at the front page and see this is what we offer. Now, inside some of our offerings, you do get different scents, but we purposely listed those in one. And to us, it was kind of if you go to a restaurant and they have a 15-page menu, it'll take you an hour to figure out what you want to eat.
Yeah.
But if you pull up a menu and there's 6 things, and you say, well, tonight I want a steak. So if you go to our website, you don't have to spend a lot of time looking and saying, well, maybe there's something better on the next page. Maybe there's something better on the next page.
Yeah.
Everything is laid out right in front of you. And we will probably get to the point where we end up as 2 pages. For the longest time, we're at 15 items now. When we started, we were at 12. And we've been at 12 up until about 2 months ago.
Wow.
So, and the other thing is we decided on our scents. We went with spiced, which is a very easy scent for us to explain, and peppermint. And people know what peppermint smells like.
Yeah.
So you know exactly what to expect.
Yeah.
A lot of companies, and not just for beard stuff, but soaps, candles, it'll be like Midnight Madness. I have no idea what Midnight Madness smells like.
That is so funny. Yes, but that's so true.
I know people always talk about, like, you have to build your description so people know exactly what they're getting. Well, we wanted to go with a sense that people knew exactly what they were getting.
Okay. I love that. You just reminded me of a scent I used to like from Bath and Body Works, sun-ripened raspberries.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
But at least you know what you're getting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. And so your shop looks very nice, very neat and clean. But it's everything, and the market is right there. Before you started selling on Etsy, did you have any reservations about taking your product to the market?
No, we really didn't. It was something that when we started, when we put up the money, the way we justified it to ourselves was absolute worst case scenario is nobody buys it and we shut it down in 6 months. And we have all the beard stuff that we'll ever need for the rest of our lives. We'll never have to buy the stuff again. So even if it was something that wouldn't sell, it was something that we knew we would use. And so we weren't putting up a big investment, and we put the time into it, but it was something we enjoyed. So we knew we were going to enjoy it. And like I said, we did a lot of research. We did a lot of learning on the go. And it kind of snowballed a lot bigger and faster than we expected it to.
Do you think that being in your own target market gives you an advantage?
Absolutely. I mean, we were obviously our first test subjects. And when we go to craft shows or to fairs or things like that, if we were both clean shaven trying to sell beard items, we would get laughed out of the show. So it's like if you make hats, stocking caps, but you're not wearing one of your own stocking caps in the winter, you're wearing someone that you bought, a commercial brand.
Yeah.
You lose credibility because you're not even using your own product.
Yeah, that's so true.
So it's something that we use every day. And it definitely helps, I think.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm sure it makes a big difference too. Because I know one of the things that a lot of Etsy sellers or entrepreneurs struggle with is really understanding their target market. And if you're not part of that market and you don't understand the mindset or what the need is, then it just makes it that much harder to service that segment that you're trying to get to.
Absolutely.
So the next thing I want to talk about is how you manage your time. But before we get into that, I want to mention the new shop that you and Rob are building, which is Camelot's Finest, because I'm sure now that you're building a new shop, that's going to work into your days now. So first, let's talk about that shop. What's Camelot's Finest all about?
So actually, if you try to find it on Etsy, it's Camelot's Finest LLC.
Okay.
When we started our beard company, we registered Camelot's Finest LLC with Merlin's Beard as a subsidiary of it.
Okay.
Because we always knew that we wanted to branch out and do other things, and that we couldn't sell wood items under the beard product company. So we sell right now cutting boards, breadboards, trivets, all handmade, all made out of wood. And then we also sell items made out of reclaimed bourbon barrels. So we sell a wine butler that'll sit on top of a wine bottle and hold 2 wine glasses. We sell a whiskey butler that will sit on top of a whiskey bottle or any kind of liquor bottle and hold 2 shot glasses. And then we sell bottle openers made out of the bourbon barrels. And people love our bottle openers, especially people that do crafts or people that collect bottle caps, because they don't put a crease in the bottle cap.
Oh.
It keeps the top completely flat.
Oh, nice.
Which is essential for crafting, especially.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'm just admiring the products that you have, especially the wine bottler. It's so handy. I mean, it's so cute. Well, I don't know if cute is the right word you want me to use for it.
Cute's fine. We also, when we launched that site, we knew that, like, we're both men. We always think about selling to men.
Yeah.
And one thing that we really learned from the launching of our first shop is that men don't necessarily care about taking care of their beards. So probably 60% of our sales are to women.
Huh.
And we knew, well, I don't have any stats, but it seems to us at least like a lot of people that shop on Etsy are women.
Yeah.
So why would we launch another site and try to gear it directly towards men when we have a product already geared towards men and 60% of our sales are going to women?
Yeah.
There's no sense in cutting our market in half.
Right. I like it. So, let's talk about how you manage your time now. So you're growing it's one business, but 2 different product lines.
Yes. Everything. Oh, go ahead.
Well, sorry, before we even get into the time management, so having already had a successful Etsy store, what are some of the things that you think helped you in setting up this new shop that, because the learning curve, I'm sure was not as steep?
The biggest thing was knowing almost exactly how to set up our shipping right out the gate.
Okay.
We have the digital scale. I already have sources for all the packaging material. Mm-hmm. So going and finding that wasn't a challenge. When we started the beard business, we had to go find our shipping material. And we went through shipping material that was poor, and we were packing certain things in envelopes that should have been in boxes, and that was a mistake. We ended up with damaged product that we had to replace, and so knowing going forward what kind of packaging to use, I think it was a huge help when we launched. And then beyond that, we have built-in social media. We moved our Merlin's Beard Instagram and our Facebook to Camelot's Finest.
Really?
So we still promote all the beard stuff on there, but we've added in all the other things. And the reason that we were comfortable doing it is because we're still doing handmade things. Mm-hmm. And we could tell and just see from looking at the people who followed us, looking at their Instagrams, woodworking, beards, whiskey, beer, they're all things that go together.
Yeah.
So we were posting pictures when it was just Merlin's Beard of other woodworkers doing things, or of us doing things.
Okay.
Or of different whiskeys, things like that. So it all, while they're definitely different, the overall theme is fairly cohesive.
Okay. And that makes sense. So did that just involve changing like your brand name or the name that you were known by, but not really anything else, so that you didn't have to lose all the traffic and the momentum and the followers that you had already garnered?
Yeah, we on Instagram and Facebook make it very easy. You can go in and actually change your name. So we changed our Facebook name from Merlin's Beard Products to Camelot's Finest.
Okay.
We changed our Instagram from Merlin's Beard Wax to Camelot's Finest LLC.
Okay.
And that we actually changed our name. We changed our branding a little bit. Twitter's the one that you can't do that. Once you have a Twitter name, you can't change it.
I thought you could.
As far as I've found, I haven't been able to.
Oh, wow.
So we still operate on Twitter as Merlin's Beard Wax, but we don't do a lot on Twitter. Everything we post on Instagram also posts to Twitter automatically.
Okay.
But we're not very active on Twitter.
Okay, I see. So how do you now manage your time? So you're doing this full time, but now you have two product lines, kind of different, but under the same umbrella. What does a typical day look like for you and Rob?
Well, since I recently made a move, I am in the wood shop a lot. I've relocated and I'm near the wood shop now.
Okay.
So I spend a lot of days in there. I also handle now most of the production on the beard stuff.
Okay.
Just because I have the equipment. So for me, my typical days are packing and shipping orders in the morning. I check out the Etsy teams. I try to check out the Etsy teams and do a little bit of social media, Etsy convos before my daughter wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
Once my daughter wakes up, I take care of her. I get her ready for her day.
Okay.
She goes to daycare. So I know a lot of people that do Etsy full time also have their kids at home.
Yeah.
Which, with the nature of the things I make, I'm not able to have, she's a year and a half old.
Right.
I'm not able to have her in the wood shop with me.
Right. Yeah.
So, and my wife and I knew that, and we were very conscientious of that when we decided to put her into daycare full time.
Okay.
So then after I drop her off, I usually go straight to the wood shop. Because we do make some wood products for the beard company. Our combs are made out of wood.
Yes.
And the bases. So I keep up with production on those. And then lately, the last 5 weeks, it's been making cutting boards and making the whiskey and wine butlers. And then come home, pick my daughter up from daycare. And then we have family time. My wife gets home. We eat dinner, play games, read books. Mm-hmm. And then daughter goes to bed, and I spend a little bit of time with my wife watching TV or, just talking about our days.
Nice.
And then when she goes to bed, sometimes I also do, but not typically. I'll go get back on the computer, pack more orders, do things like that. Sometimes I'll do some production late at night.
Okay.
Once in a while, you'll see my Instagram like 11 o'clock or midnight, and I'll post a picture of waxes I just made. So it's hard to manage, and I guess, honestly, I don't do it very well, probably. I don't have anything scheduled. I just kind of do whatever I think needs to be done right now. Yeah. And then a couple days later, I'm like, wow, I should have done this like a week ago. So hopefully after the holidays, because the holidays are obviously crazy. I know they are for everyone.
Yeah.
I'd like to get into a little bit more of a routine and a little bit more scheduled. Okay. And I know that will help. not just help it grow, but it'll also help, with the family life. I get yelled at often for being on my phone when I'm not supposed to be.
Is it that Etsy app pulling you away?
It does. It pulls me away all the time.
I know.
Like, and it pops up, and my wife's like, "You don't have to answer their conversation right now." And I said, "Yeah, but they know I saw it." Like when I send a message to someone, I assume it's in their pocket, and they saw it. So I've tried to be in the last couple weeks better about that.
Yeah, I know. I think about that too. It's like, will they expect that I've already seen this, even though I have, and I really don't want to drop everything just to respond.
Yeah.
Now,
it's nice to have the app, but it definitely it becomes a burden.
It does. It
becomes a burden.
Yeah, and then you get addicted to that the cash register sound. Now that I will drop everything for when it's like, oh no, money just came in. I need to stop everything. So regarding your products, do you make everything to order, or do you keep a par level of everything just so that there's always something ready to go and then you can fulfill orders as they come in? Or do you make when you get an order?
No, everything is pre-made.
Okay.
We make larger batches now of things.
Okay.
And especially like leading into the holidays, I've been working on production for about 4 weeks to try to build up, because last year when the holidays came around, it turned into, every single night Rob was making items and I was shipping items. And he was producing items every night. And by the next day I'd be like, all right, I need it all because it's already sold. So this year we tried to get ahead of the game, as much as we can anyway, because obviously we built in growth, and hopefully we didn't build in enough growth. Hopefully we grow bigger than that.
Yeah.
But we tried to get everything prepared, and our stuff has excellent shelf life. Okay. So we don't have to worry about losing product or anything like that. It's just about having the capital to buy the materials.
Okay.
And get everything going before the holidays, which is why we reinvest everything.
Okay.
So we can look to the future growth.
Now, when do you think, as a business, at what point do you think you'll be ready to start outsourcing, or do you anticipate that you'll be ready to start outsourcing some tasks? Maybe not the tasks that are core to your product, but like administrative tasks. Do you anticipate, or when do you feel like you would reach the point where it's time to say, okay, I need someone to answer the convos while I, focus on making more product, or to do the shipping?
Yeah, so I'm not really sure. I don't know what point we'd have to be at. I will say that already, we do have help with our social media.
Okay.
We have a guy who works with us. His name's John. He handles a lot of our social media for us. Mm-hmm. And then we also have a guy named Luke who does all of our design work. So he designed our logos.
Oh.
He did all of that, because I cannot do anything with graphic design on a computer. Okay. I can't even draw a stick figure on my paper without it looking terrible. So he does all of our designs for us. Okay. And then when we do new scents or things like that, or custom labels, we do custom labels for people. We do them for like groomsmen gifts.
Oh, right.
Or once in a while there will be a barber shop who wants to integrate their logo onto our labels.
Oh, right.
So we do things like that, and he does all that design work for us, which is a huge help.
When you do custom work for a local business like that, is that something that you charge a premium for?
We haven't yet. I think we will in the future. The first shop that we did it for was our very first shop that brought us in, and I think we were just so excited to have a shop carrying our stuff that we were very happy and willing to do that.
Yeah.
And then we've done it a couple for online orders, and somebody just asked if we could do a custom label for them, and we said, yeah, sure. Like, what do you want? So I think eventually we'll be adding that as an option.
Okay.
That's something you can find on Etsy, but it's nothing we've charged for yet.
Okay. Now, with regard to your product pricing, how hard or easy was it for you to settle on what you were going to charge?
It was difficult. because we know our costs. One of the first things we decided we had to do was know exactly what an item costs to make. Not necessarily our time, but the tin, the label, the ink, the material inside, the bottle, everything. So once we figured that out, we built in multiples to what we wanted to get to price-wise. And then we looked at other shops on Etsy. So at the very beginning, we tried to come in just a little bit below everybody. Okay. And we thought that would work. And I think it did work. But we got into another barber shop at those prices. And our stuff was selling, but not as well as they thought it should. So they said,
at the barber shop, you mean?
Yes. Not as well as the barber shop thought it should be selling.
Oh.
And they carried a lot of items. They carried several other beard companies, and a lot of pomades, things like that. And they said to us one day, you have to raise your prices. So we did. And as soon as we raised our prices, our sales took off even more.
Really?
Especially in the barbershop.
What?
Because people didn't perceive it as a good deal. They perceived it as an inferior product.
Right.
So, and I think that's really helped us. And we were worried about what sales would do, what it would do to sales online.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want to have retail in the barbershop be higher than our retail on Etsy.
Yeah.
So we raised it, and it didn't have any effect. Definitely didn't have any negative effect.
You raised it both locally and in your Etsy shop?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So
I've heard that happens quite often.
Yeah. So, I mean, I look at other Etsy shops often just to see where pricing is. And for SEO terms, things like that.
Yeah.
And we try to stay, we don't want to be too high, obviously, but we try to be fair for the amount of work and the quality of the product that goes in.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about how you promote. So you guys went about it a little bit differently because you started off selling locally. You got traction there. You knew that the product was good because you tested it in the market, and then you took it online. But now, how do you promote your shop? And I guess even more so with the new shop, Camelot's Finest LLC. How do you plan to gain traction in that one and grow that product line?
So, our biggest thing for promotion right now is Instagram.
Okay.
We try to do a lot of Instagram. We don't do near as much as we should or near as much as we want to. A lot of it's a timing thing, and a lot of it is we don't know what to put up. You know, I mean, we're not really. We're not.
Oh my goodness! You have the best pictures.
We put up a lot of pictures. We do, but we're not. Neither of us, Rob or I, are very internet social media beings. Like, I have a personal Facebook page.
Yeah.
That I post on maybe once every other month. Maybe.
Yeah.
So it's not where I necessarily hang out, but we're getting better about it. We're going that way. We started doing farmers markets in our area for the beard stuff, and we started with a little bit of the wood stuff before we launched online.
Okay.
And then we do a lot of craft shows, and I think the craft shows have been huge. They've not only helped us get out to the public where people are trying to buy our stuff, but we meet people from barbershops or people from men's grooming stores, things like that. Because a lot of these shows that we go to, especially in the Chicagoland area, are people that are buyers looking for. So it's almost like it's not only a craft fair, but it's also
like a vendor fair.
Like a vendor fair, kind of, because you get so many people walk out, and the people that are walking around, they're passing their cards out as well, saying like, if you want us to carry your stuff, contact us.
Oh.
So we've gotten a lot of leads that way, which has been great.
Okay. Now, how do you determine which of these craft shows or farmers markets you want to participate in? What's your vetting process?
Well, when we first started, we have a very different product. We don't make clothing, or we don't make decorations. We don't make decorative items. So I guess what we would say is we do the Not Your Grandma's craft fairs. So there's a big one in Chicago called Dose Market, and when you walk in, it is much more like you're at a party. They have a DJ, they have a bar, they have food vendors that are making small plates, and not like hamburgers and hot dogs. They're making like octopus or
What?
really, really fancy donuts with bacon on top of them, things like that. And not only do you have to pay to be a vendor, you have to pay to shop.
Oh.
So they do these events, and there's maybe 3,000 people that come, but they charge $8 to $10 just to get in the door.
Oh, wow.
So the people that are come, they're not coming just to walk around and get some exercise. They're going to shop.
Yeah.
So those have been great for us.
Oh, wow. And so from those, those types, you don't just sell to the people who are there. Do you also, like those more eclectic ones, for lack of a better term, do you also get, the vendor crowd where people want to do business with you outside of just buying your products there?
We do get a little bit of that, and a lot of the things that are there, they're small-time clothing companies or eyeglass companies that are doing all their own manufacturing and things like that. And these people are coming around and saying, you know, I have a store that this stuff would fit great in. So you get some of that. The other thing you get a lot of is people that run other markets in the area will come and go to vendors and say, well, I would love to have something like you at our market.
Oh, I see.
So we found additional markets last year for the holidays of people that found us at this market.
Oh.
Then we did farmers markets. They're not, in the area we were in, they weren't the best because it was very much people just, you know, walking their dog and checking everything out and then on their way. Not as many people looking to shop.
Yeah.
And definitely not for our kind of items.
Now, have you considered, because this, you know, is a good venue for getting into shops, have you considered using Etsy Wholesale also as an avenue for making more wholesale sales?
We did just in the last couple weeks after listening to your show, we decided to launch on Etsy Wholesale. So I think going forward, we're going to start directing vendors directly to Etsy Wholesale.
Nice.
As opposed to us, we have a line sheet. It doesn't look very good because, again, I'm not a graphic design person. So I'm not even sure how to make it look exactly how I want to.
Mm-hmm.
So, but with Etsy Wholesale, I think it's great. They handle the transactions. They vet all of the customers, all of the shops that are coming. So if I have somebody contact me from California and they say, oh, well, I have a barbershop, I have no idea what their barbershop looks like. I've never been there. If they don't have an online presence, you don't really know anything about them. And maybe it's somewhere that I don't want my stuff sold.
Yeah.
So with Etsy doing the vetting and handling the transactions, I think it'll be very, very good. We haven't had a sale on Etsy Wholesale yet, but it's something that we're going to start advertising more.
Okay.
And pushing people towards it.
Now, as a newcomer to Etsy Wholesale, how was the onboarding process for you? What did you think? Was it easy enough? Was it self-explanatory? What was your experience?
I thought it was very easy.
Okay.
I filled out the form. Have you done Etsy Wholesale?
No, I have not.
Okay, so they have just a standard form that you fill out. You have to offer 50% off of your retail. So if you sell an item for $20, you have to retail it for $10 or less. Or wholesale it, I'm sorry, for $10 or less.
Okay.
And then you fill everything out, you submit what your Etsy shop is, you get a few pictures, and send it away. And they say 3 to 5 days they'll get back to you. They contacted me the next day, and they had just a couple questions because we sell beard combs, wooden combs. They wanted to know the process and who makes them.
Okay.
So I explained the process, and they came back and said, okay, that's fantastic. You're now approved, and you can sign up. So then you onboard. They do charge you to onboard. There is a one-time fee.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything runs exactly like Etsy.
Oh, fantastic. I was going to ask a question about that, and it just slipped my mind. Okay, if I remember it, I'll come back to it.
Okay.
So let's talk about you also have an e-commerce website that you sell through.
Yes.
Now, is the e-commerce on the e-commerce website, you sell both product lines. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So let's talk about that. Is that a new site, or did you build it in conjunction with, back last year when you first started Merlin's beard products, or was it something you worked on after just to develop your own independent platform?
We just launched it about 2 months ago, probably.
Okay.
But we found very quickly that it is very, very hard to get people to go to the website. And there's, I don't know how many websites there are, but we're just one of them.
Yeah.
Where with Etsy, yes, there's a lot of Etsy sellers and there's a lot of people doing what we do, but Etsy also drives its own traffic to an extent.
Yeah.
If someone is really looking for you, they will find you on Etsy.
Yeah.
Whereas if you search for me right now on Google, you may never, ever, ever find me on my own site. You'll find me on Etsy before you'll find me on my site.
Yeah.
So it is something we do, and we are trying to drive traffic to it, and we'll be much more of a focus in come January when we have a little more time to do that.
Okay.
But we wanted to have a place that we can eventually blog, and also through doing a lot of these fairs, we brought on some stuff that we buy wholesale and we resell.
Oh,
and
okay.
you can't sell that on Etsy. So
Yeah.
we wanted a place where we could do all of those things.
Oh, okay.
So eventually we may end up buying more things wholesale that fit with our overall brand and sell them through the website. Now, we don't play it off that we make this or anything like that. We give you, here's all the info about who made it, and we only do things that are handmade, and we only want to do things from people that we like and have a good story, because those are the things that sell.
Yeah. So that website is camelotsfinest.com. I will have
Yes.
a link to it if you want to go and check it out. And that's, again, it's camelotsfinest.com. So I was going to ask you, but I think you've kind of answered it, but I'll still ask you this anyway. I know you've probably heard people say that it's good to have your own space on the web, so that if anything happens, like if, God forbid something bad happens with Etsy and, they shut down the store, or Etsy goes out of business, or what have you, that you still have something that's yours where you can still continue to run your business and sell your products. So what I was going to ask was, in light of, how much work it is, do you think it's worth spending the time on your own e-commerce business at this point in time to do it? And I know with the holidays and all, it's busy, but let's just extrapolate, down the road. Do you think it will be worth it for you to invest the time and energy and everything else that goes into running an independent e-commerce website?
I hope that it will be, but honestly, I don't think that it is going to be.
Why is that? Why do you think that?
And I think that part of it is that Etsy has become a trusted brand in itself. So there is if you try to buy something on Etsy and the item doesn't arrive, or whatever problem you have as a buyer, you have at least some kind of recourse. Whereas if you buy something from just an independent website, there's not much that you can do if the item shows up not as described, or if it never shows up.
Right.
So, and people know the name Etsy, they're automatically going there for handmade things.
Yeah.
Whereas trying to find something like that on your own, it's not nearly as easy.
Yeah. So there is that factor of gaining the public's trust.
Absolutely.
From, a business that they're not really that familiar with, or don't necessarily have much information about, especially when you're new.
Yeah, we're very new. We don't have a track record.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at our social media, but even if you get into our social media, you'll see that we sell on Etsy. And then people are, well, why am I going to give you my credit card information? Even though you're not giving it to me, you're giving it to Shopify, which is the platform that I use.
Yeah.
But not everybody necessarily thinks of that.
Yes.
I will just go through a company that is known and trusted.
And, you're so right, because I recently was looking for, I'm trying to rebrand my website. And so I was online looking for a graphic designer and a website designer, just, to help me because I need professional help at this point. What I'm trying to do, I can't do it. and I found a website online, and I thought, oh, I really like what this person is doing, but I don't know who they are, and I don't know for sure. And then I found out that she actually sells on Etsy her graphic and website design services. So I went through Etsy to buy from her. So you
Exactly.
it makes absolute sense. Now, how has it been working with Shopify? What do you think about the platform? Because I know that for e-commerce sellers, especially Etsy sellers, if you want to branch out to your own website, that's one of the viable options out there. What has been your experience with Shopify?
I think it's been very easy. I wish they had an easier way to import listings, but I understand that there's no way to import listings from Etsy to Shopify as far as I know. I hope there isn't because I didn't use it. But I understand that they're kind of competing platforms. So it took a while to do that. But other than that, it's been very easy, very, very streamlined to do. So it's just, again, driving the traffic to there. And I just got my first sale today on the Shopify site.
Oh, really?
And I've been open over 2 months. And when it turns out it's a friend of Rob's girlfriend's.
Oh.
So it wasn't even someone we didn't know. It was, a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
So
I know. The real excitement comes in when you sell something to a stranger.
Exactly.
I get it. Now, when you get a new idea for a new product, typically how long does it take from inception to execution to actually offering that?
Well, as you said earlier, we've got a pretty streamlined offering.
Okay.
So as far as the beard stuff goes, we don't do much. We have ideas and we test stuff. And we have launched a shave oil, which we had the idea to do the shave oil, and it probably took us 2 or 3 weeks before we got it launched. But I don't even know that it's actually up on Etsy. I'm not sure. I don't think it is.
I saw an oil there.
Yeah, there's a beard oil.
Oh, beard oil, not the shave oil. Okay.
Yeah, a shave oil is something we do a lot of through Wholesale. But obviously I need to get it up onto the website.
Okay.
So that's something that I'll do. So for that one, I guess, 4 or 5 months to get it up there. But for the wood stuff, it's a little bit longer process. So just because of the time it takes to not just decide what you want to do, you also have to acquire the wood.
Oh, yes.
And then for me, there's no mills around here very close. So it's almost a 3-hour round trip by the time I go to get material.
Oh, wow.
And I don't have a large workspace, so it's hard to lay in material. So it's a lot of trips to the mill. And then, probably a month, I would say, from the conception of a new cutting board to be listed online.
Okay. And does the weather also affect that, with the wood, getting the type of wood you want at a specific time of year and also storing it because of the temperature changes and all whatnot? Is that a factor that you have to consider?
Temperature changes, not really for storing wood. It's more the moisture. You can't really store it outside because it'll change the color and the boards will twist and things like that. Oh, yeah. So I do have some storage indoors that I use, but other than that, I pretty much, lately I've been going to the mill about once a week to lay in material, and then I get it in, and then I take it down to production. Okay.
What would you say? So, now you're running to Etsy shops. What would you say is something that you've learned in your experience over the past? It's over a year now, almost going on 2 years now, that you want to share with the Etsy sellers listening who might be struggling with just trying to find their groove, if you will, on Etsy and, getting in their stride on Etsy. What's some helpful information do you think you can share with them?
SEO is obviously important. Pictures are very important. But I think the biggest thing is getting sales. So even if that is, if you've been making things and giving them away, or if you're making things and you just have them lying around your house, just ask a friend to buy it. Ask ask somebody in your family to buy something off of your Etsy page.
Really?
And because if you're selling in person to friends and family, even if you're already selling it, ask them to go through your Etsy page, because the more sales you have, the more you'll move up in the listings.
Oh, I see.
And you also, after a sale, you jump to the top of listings as you relist. So, and you have to have your search terms down.
Yeah.
And the more views you get, views multiply on top of views, because Etsy likes to have at the front of the page is things that people are looking at. So I have one item of mine that is at the top of several search terms because it's the item of mine that is viewed the most.
Oh, I see.
So that's my best seller.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So what's one thing that you really like about selling on Etsy, and what's one thing, if you could change, you would ask to change?
So I'd say the thing that I really like is, I love getting feedback, positive feedback, but even more than positive feedback or any kind of feedback is when you get an order, you'll notice sometimes there's a little green star next to the order, next to the person's name, and that means they've ordered from you before.
Oh, is that what that means?
That's what that means. So if you see that little green star, that means someone bought your product and liked it enough that they came back and bought more product from you. And I think, to me, that is the best kind of feedback.
Yeah.
So I love seeing that.
Do you do anything special for your repeat buyers?
I try to I always throw in more stickers for the repeat buyers. I'll do notes, handwritten notes sometimes. Especially people that, like, I've noticed people that'll order like every other month. Like, they're keeping it on hand.
Oh,
you know, just thanks so much for the continued support. I have reached out to people on the convo and said, if there's anything that you do that I can support you in, let us know.
Oh, nice.
So, and sometimes people will come back and say, just link me on my Instagram. I'm trying to get more viewers.
Oh, okay.
Or check out my shop. So, I'll go check out their shop and favorite some things, or even buy something once in a while. So just making it more personal.
Okay. And speaking of making it personal, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, especially since we're now talking about repeat customers, is do you see your Merlin's Beard Products shop as being in the same arena as some of the online men's shave club? I don't know what to call them, but like Dollar Shave Club.
Club.
Yeah. Do you see yourself as being similar to those? Like, are you in the same, would you consider that you guys are in the same space?
I would say we're definitely in the same space.
Okay.
I would not say we're in the same league. They are.
Okay.
Like some places like the Dollar Shave Club, they're so large, they're so massive.
Yeah.
But they spend so much money on advertising.
Yeah.
And it's just something that we can't afford to do. Now, another reason that we reinvest everything is because we are starting to do ads and things like that on Facebook. Okay. And we're going to get into some Instagram ads.
Okay.
And we do Pinterest ads once in a while. But
how did those work for you?
Pinterest ads work great.
Oh, good.
Facebook ads work great if you're trying to get followers for your Facebook page.
Okay. But not so much for sales.
Yeah. Pinterest, you drive people to the site.
Okay.
And once in a while we'll run a coupon code along with the Pinterest ad just to track and see, and it always generates sales.
Oh, good. Oh, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah. So we try to attach, anytime we do a promotion, we try to attach some kind of coupon code to it, not only to entice people to buy while we're spending the money on marketing, but also to see where it's coming from. Because it's very hard on Etsy to tell where an order came from.
Yeah.
You can tell where the views come from.
Right.
But you can't tell where a specific order came from.
That's true. Do you anticipate sometime in the future for Camelot's Finest LLC as a parent company going the route of Dollar Shave Club, like offering things on a monthly subscription, like since you already have repeat customers, so kind of that, people do like the product and they are coming back to restock. Is that something that you anticipate you might want to do in the future?
I would love to be able to do that. especially if you could do, we send out a different scent every month, and if you decide you don't like that scent, we'll never send that scent to you again.
Mm-hmm.
But I think more realistically, what we would want to do is get into someone that is already sending out packages every month, like on a monthly subscription. There's a company called Bespoke, and they send it out to, I don't know how many subscribers they have, but they send it out monthly, and they include things like socks, ties, razors, magazines, different kinds of mints, anything like that. So to get in just 1 month of one of those would be great, because you send out a sample size.
Yeah.
And then you get in front of all of their buyers. And then if people like it, they're coming back to buy more.
Oh, and then they refer them to, they'll drive them back to your Etsy shop.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
So, and they keep bringing in new stuff every month, and they're making money on it. But the reason they can make money on it is because I'm willing to give it to them at a very, very good price because of all of the marketing.
Right. Yeah. And then for you, then the hope is that that will turn into new customers, sales for you. Okay.
Yep.
And you said that's called Bespoke?
I believe that one's called Bespoke.
Okay. Now, what would you say is something you think you're doing now that's working really well for your business?
There's no way that I could ever measure this, but we ship orders very, very quickly.
Okay.
And we're very, very responsive on customer conversations and any kind of negative feedback.
Okay.
And I don't know, like I said, there's no way to measure it, but I feel like the days that we ship our orders out instantly, we get more sales that day. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if Etsy takes into account in their SEO how fast you respond to things. But I would not be surprised if it's like, okay, well, this shop sends out their orders within 24 hours and they respond to conversations within 30 minutes versus this shop never ships by the time they say they're going to, and they never respond to conversations. Like, why would I not be higher than someone else in searches? So, and I don't know if it's true or if it's like that. And I always tell my wife, it seems like every time I finish packing orders, I'll get a sale. Like, it'll just pop up and I'll go, okay, and now I'll go pack that order and then I'll go to the post office.
Oh, wow.
And it happens a lot.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because something similar happened yesterday, and for a split second, what you just said, that thought crossed my mind, and I thought, no, you're just imagining that there's a connection. But it would be nice if there was a connection.
Yeah. And I mean, I can definitely tell on days that we're more active on social media, we get more views. Not necessarily more sales, but definitely more views.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and with more views, eventually come more sales.
Yes.
So, as we ramp up our social media, things get better.
Now, what are some of the tools, or you can just mention one or two tools or resources that you're using now that are some of the favorite that you're really enjoying using and you would recommend to other sellers?
Definitely Marmalade.
Oh, you use it.
I listened to your conversation with them.
Yeah.
And I've asked them a few questions like through their chat. They're extremely responsive.
Yeah.
And I used it for free for like 3 days. And I said, this is crazy. I need to step up to the pro version. So I messaged them and said, am I able to track 2 shops through this? And they said, oh yeah, you can change the shop name as many times as you want to.
Okay.
So I can track both of my shops through it.
Yeah.
And I use it all the time for SEO, all the time.
Fantastic. That's a nice testimony.
And then the other one that I use, and I don't think I've ever heard it mentioned on your show. Mm-hmm. There's a company called Kit, KIT.
KIT.
Yes, they do internet marketing. So every morning, I think it's like 6:30, I get a text message from Kit that says, is there anything that I can help you with today? And they give you a list of numbers to text back. And you can ask for reports from your Etsy shop or from your Shopify site. You can ask for, if you have an ad campaign going on Facebook, they'll text you the results of how it's doing.
What?
And they will also text you, and you can text back and say like, okay, well, number 4 is let's start a new Facebook ad campaign. Huh. And they'll text me back and say, okay, how many items do you want to feature? And I say 4. And they say, how many days do you want it to run? How much money do you want to spend? And they'll text me back and say, okay, your ad campaign is now pending approval. And they'll set up your Etsy ads, or I'm sorry, your Facebook ads for you. And they just launched where they'll set up Instagram ads for you.
Wait, what are these? So are there people, like they're actual people that do it? It's not like a program.
I think it's a program. I don't know.
What? Is it free?
It's not free, but the basic version, which is what I use right now, is $10 a month.
Okay.
And that'll let you do Facebook ads. They have a pro version that has much more functionality and will also let you do Instagram ads, which is $25 a month. Wow. But I'm about to step up to the $25 one. And I think the technology or whatever they're doing is worth way more than that, because I haven't made a new Facebook ad since I downloaded it.
Oh, because it does all that for you. So
it does all of it for me.
Oh, so when you sign up, I guess initially you need to connect it to all your social media accounts that you want to.
Exactly. You connect it to your social media accounts and whatever store you want to connect it to. So right now mine's connected to my Shopify, but I'm about to switch it to be connected to my Etsy.
Okay.
And then I'm going to start doing Instagram ads. Now, obviously, you still have to pay for whatever the amount of the ad is.
Yeah.
But all of the legwork it'll do for you. They'll do scrolling, so you get multiple pictures on one ad. And then people can click through it. And
this website is called Kit?
It's kitcrm.com.
Kitcrm.com. Okay.
Yes.
If you're as intrigued about kitcrm.com as I am, I'm going to have a link to it in the show notes for this episode. Just go to convome.com/ Merlin's Beard Products, and I'll have a link to it. Oh, wait. Or do you get a referral bonus? Because I don't want to take that from you.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, good. Oh, wow. I'm so intrigued by that.
It's very cool. Like I'd seen an ad for it pop up a couple times on my Facebook.
Yeah.
And then I heard an interview with them on, I don't know, some TV show. And I downloaded it, and like I said, they text me every day.
Wow. And so then you can give them up to 4 tasks to perform for you.
Yeah, they have different tasks. They'll do ads, they'll give you reporting on your ads. If you're doing it with Shopify, they'll give you your stats for the day. So you don't even have to go into the different apps. You can just send a text message. And you text and say, "Hi, Kit." And they say, "Oh, hi, what can I do for you today?" Yeah.
Sounds like a Google thing.
It's pretty cool.
Okay. So, Chris, let's talk about your Etsy shop shout out. Is there any Etsy shop seller or anyone that you want to give a shout out to or just recognize for some reason?
Yeah. Arctic Brick Company.
Arctic Brick Company?
Yep. Arctic Brick, like the Arctic, Antarctica. Yes. Arctic Brick Company.
Okay.
They make and sell Lego ornaments. So for as long as I can remember, I've loved penguins. They're by far my favorite animal. And last year for Christmas, actually, I think my mother-in-law got me a penguin Lego ornament, which I also love Legos.
Nice.
So, but it's a father-son that do these. And they always say they ship out the next day. Now it says 1 to 2 business days because I think they're getting busier. But father son, and I'm not sure how old the son is, but I think he's very early teens, if that old. Which is really, really cool.
Yeah. Okay, that's Arctic Brick Company, and I'm going to have a link to that Etsy shop. Please go check them out too, and see what they're offering and what they're all about. Chris, thank you so much for being my guest. But before I let you go, what's the best way people can reach you if they want to get in touch with you?
Just the Etsy conversation.
Okay.
It's by far the easiest. I also respond to email. Merlin's Beard Products @gmail.com.
Okay.
Is our Merlin's Beard Products email address, or Chris @camelotsfinest.com is a direct email to me. But I check all of the email accounts. We check the Etsy conversations every day, multiple times a day. And also, we'd like to do a coupon code for your listeners.
Oh, yes. Great.
So from now through the end of the year, December 31st, we'll do Etsy Convo as the coupon code, and you can type that in on any order from our Merlin's Beard Products website, and that'll get you 15% off your order.
Oh, thank you so much, Chris.
Absolutely.
So please do check out Merlin's Beard Products. It's a great time. You have a couple of weeks before Christmas. Well, no. Yeah. A couple of weeks before Christmas. So just so you make sure you get it in and wrapped before Christmas Day. Go to Etsy shop, Merlin's Beard Products. If you're shopping for a man with a beard or you want to buy something for yourself, I'll have the link to the Etsy shop, or just type that in directly, Merlin's Beard Products with an S at the end, and use the coupon code Etsy Convo to get 15% off whatever you buy. Chris, thank you so much for the coupon code and for being my guest on the podcast. I really enjoyed talking to you and learning about what you and Rob are doing.
Excellent. I really enjoyed talking with you as well.
And I thank you for listening to the podcast, and I will be back next week.
Thank you for listening. You can subscribe to the podcast in iTunes, and while you're there, please leave a review too. Visit convome.com to leave a comment or feedback on this episode.